Okay, so here we are with our nose, we have our cheeks, and we have our seams sewn. So now at this point, we want to magnetize our mouth. So we're gonna have a little magnet ready for a soother. If you don't wanna have a soother, you can skip this step, but I really like little soothers. So what you're gonna wanna do is take a piece of wool felt, or I just use leftover fleece actually. I find this actually even a better alternative to the wool felt. This is just scrap from my lining, and I cut it just slightly larger than the magnet, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is put my magnet aside and take my fleece or felt and place it where I would like the mouth to be approximately. So I think that looks good. So using my thread that's doubled on the end and knotted, I'm hoping you can see that, I am going to start by sewing this on, leaving a small gap. So I'm going to sew this all the way around, just a quick stitching, just attaching it. It doesn't have to be fancy. Sorry, I was off camera. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just going around and doing a quick stitch just to prevent the magnet from coming out once it's placed in. And you can see I'm pushing down to make it a little easier to do this. I find the fleece better than the wool felt because I find it smooths out better and leaves less of a trace at the mouth. However, I do have the wool felt in the tutorial because it is nice and firm and easy for beginners to work with. But if you want to try using fleece, I prefer it myself, and I have a feeling you will too, no matter what level of doll maker you are. I'm almost closed up enough. I'm going to keep going. There we go. So you can see I've left this little area open, and at this point I'll slide my little magnet in. So my magnet's in now, and I'm going to sew the little gap shut to keep that magnet from coming out at all. Oh, I just stabbed myself. So once you've gone all the way around and come back to where you started, now you want to start ladder stitching. So this is going to pull the fleece and draw it really close to the head. So I'm going to ladder stitch this fleece all the way around. Once you've gone all the way around once, if the magnet isn't flush against the head, notice I'm pushing down on the magnet as I go. That's another little trick, is to push on the magnet as you're ladder stitching. That forces the magnet into the head and will leave less of a trace of a magnet there. A lot of times with first-time doll makers, you will still see the magnet after they're done sewing, and that's just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a practice thing and learning a few tricks like pushing the magnet down and ladder stitching, and making sure that your head isn't too firm as well. If your head is very firm and your magnet can't get pushed down, that too will affect your final result. So you can see I'm still going around. Sometimes my magnet wants to hold my needle, so you want to be sure that your magnet is not doing that. The smaller the ladder stitch, usually the tighter it can go. Now I'm almost at the beginning, and I'll show you how flush it is. And I may go around another time. I have to decide once I see it at the end, but I may not. Now if your needle were to snap, thread were to snap from the pressure and tension you're holding, that's okay. You'll just start again at the start and go around a second time with your ladder stitch. So I can tell already I'm going to have to go around again, and I'll show you why in a second. There, I'm at the end. So I'm going to tie this off just to show you what happened here. Okay, so you can see that the the magnet is fairly flush to the head. However, you can see right here is a little lip, and that's not going to look nice under the skin. So I'm going to do a final time around with a ladder stitch, and then I'll come back and we'll move on to the next step. So you can go around again if you need more than once or twice around. The final time will really clean that up, making sure you're pushing down on your magnet. It should be smooth. There should be no trace of the magnet when you hold it on its profile. All right, so I will see you back here in a moment.